So that's us all topped up and ready to go with heat and oil for a good few weeks anyway. So the job ticked off. It's a beautiful morning, absolutely gorgeous morning. Try and get a little bit of the outside jobs done today, I think. So I got some wine bottled yesterday, didn't film that. Yeah, just not organised enough. I'll try and film a little bit, hopefully during today. I was quite tired yesterday actually. Anyway, I had a good night's sleep. So yeah, just to get some work sorted, well, home type work sorted before I go back to work next week. So I need to clear some space. I'm doing some work on my little figure as well. So I'll show you a bit of that with you as well. It's coming along. Lovely. We'll crack on. Okay, sat down now, so just thought I'd quickly film our heating oil people driving off just for fun. So yeah, got a few household jobs to do in the next couple of days. Anyway, try and wake up a bit. Just trying to relax a little bit before I get back in work. Anyway, yes, thought I'd do a little update on the little figure that I'm making. So I've got as far as I've been starting to stitch up and form the little boots for the figure. You can see that, and they have markers on them, so I didn't think too much about that, but I just kind of assumed that the front of the boot would be the middle of the leg bit, the trouser bit, but no, I was wrong. Anyway, so what else I've been doing? So I've got the thread drawn around to make the head shape now, and I'm going to start. I've started to stitch up the legs at the back for the trousers, and then it said to stitch in the boots. So I did stitch in one. However, I assumed that the middle of the boot would match up with the marker on the trousers, but it didn't. It should have been the side of the boot matching up with the marker on the trousers. So I had my first attempt, I had a very sideways boot. Trying to hold this so you can see. So that's not looking great, but anyway, hopefully you get the idea. So to have a forward facing boot, I needed to match up the marker with one of the sides markers on the formed boot. Anyway, had to undo it, and I hate undoing things, but it's done now, so I will re-sew that fairly soon. But I'm going to nip outside and do some outside jobs while it's fine and dry. So it was raining a bit yesterday, so I did some inside jobs like bottling wine instead. I went for a little cycle ride yesterday, and I found a source of damsons not too far away, so I'm quite excited about that. I'm a little bit grounded this week because my car's not in the garage until tomorrow to be fixed, so I've got to stay local. Neil's been busy at work, and obviously been cooking teas and things for everyone. Yeah, it's just one of those sorts of weeks. So I get the impression Neil's quite enjoyed having this break from being on cooking duty. Anyway, I had a break last week, so it's kind of fun. Right, yeah, that's it for now, I think. And with the doll making, I have got a second one to make, so that I've never done this before, so I'm kind of learning as I go along, but I will film a little bit when I start off the second one in case anyone's interested, and I will just get the pattern details in case anyone is interested. I'll be back. So this is the pattern that we're following. So you can see that. It's actually from icklebuddies.co.uk. You can see that. So I'm not the best at following patterns, to be quite truthful. So, but it has been actually quite easy to follow. And so I think I've got all this way and started stuffing it and forming it, and it was my first major mistake really was on the orientation of the boots, but the instructions are clear. I just didn't read them, which is, yeah, I'm not very good at reading instructions. I think, oh, it'll be fine, and then yeah, but I also hate redoing things as well. So, but considering, I think it's going okay. Right, oh, so I'm around at the back at the moment, and I've been doing some cutting back of a beautiful mature hedge we've got along the back here. I did deliberately let the elder bush grow up, those that have been following for some time, so I had some lovely elderflower wine which I've just bottled, which I made from the flowers, and now the elderberries are ready. So I was thinking that they were not ready actually, because there's still quite a lot of green ones on, but the ripe ones are actually dropping. You can see all the black spots on the floor. Anyway, so I've harvested some which are down here, so we'll be fairly shortly turning those into elderberry wine, and then once I've got enough, I might even do 2 batches of wine actually, but I have started to cut back the elder to just take the height down. It's just getting away a bit at the moment, and I'm also taking down the width of the hedge, but I'm trying to retain some cover for the wildlife. So you can see I've cut back quite a lot, but I'm trying to leave some greenery. I think I'll take the height down a bit more. I'll have to get some steps for that. And then around the gate here it was really overgrown, so again I'm going to do a bit more cutting back there. But one thing I don't think Neil and I will ever agree on is how much to cut a hedge back. So I was a work in progress, but you can see I've cut off loads, and there's a load more in the builder's bag, and we can always trim it more in the spring or early, before the nesting starts. So that's my version, and that's Neil's version. So okay, it'll grow back eventually, but didn't really need hacking back quite so hard in the first place. I mean, I know we wanted to take back the width, but I don't really understand why we took the height right down as well. Like a good couple of feet, sure. We're just never going to agree, what can I say? So I'm just a bit like fearful what it'll be like by the time Neil's finished. So, but that's that side, and then this is the other side that hasn't been taken back yet, just for comparison. So you can see that side has got quite big, and it does need bringing in a bit. But I mean, like, a bit would be lovely. Anyway, see what happens at the weekend. I will share pictures and see what you all think. I'm more of a like little and often cutter than like just hacking back all in one go. I think it's just, there's berries in the hedge, there's shelter for the birds, things like that. So okay, there are other places they can shelter, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so I really hope that back bit grows back better than it did this year. It didn't grow much this year, I think partly because it was so dry all year really. I had a very, very dry spring and summer this year. So hopefully once we get a bit of rain, that'll start to fill out better. Fingers crossed. Right, the other thing I'm working on today is I've sawn back the very thick stem branch, whatever we call it here. So this is our mixed clematis and honeysuckle. So it's this beautiful and established, but we just wanted to widen the access to the back. So if we ever did want to store a caravan or something else around the back, we have the option to do that. But obviously, because these are all climbers, so the the heavy branches cut back, but I just need to cut back now the tangled growth on top, so that's my next job. The heavy lifting, cutting back at the front is done. It's actually quite breezy today. We'll just see how we get on. Potentially it's going to make it a bit of a wind tunnel in winter up the front there, but anyway, we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to carry on and do a bit more here in the back shortly, but I'm just going to take a breather and get a bite to eat. When we moved house, I found a kind of forgotten little Christmas present from Neil from some years ago actually. So as I was bottling up this year's elderflower wine, I thought I'd put my 2 posh labels on the elderflower wine, so there you go. Sandra wine labels for my homemade wine. What I hadn't really paid too much attention to at the time is it says Sandra, a bubbly little number with spicy overtones. Comment below. Right, yeah, just gonna have a quick breather and then do a bit more cutting back. I do enjoy it, but gosh, it does take a bit of time, doesn't it? Perfect weather for it though, not too hot today. Yeah, so good to get this done before I go back to work next week. I've really enjoyed today, but it's gone far too quickly. Far too quickly. Anyway, so I've done so much cutting back, probably about 3 dumpy bags worth of cuttings, but it still doesn't look like I did all that much. But anyway, definitely made progress there, including cutting back some very mature rose, like as in wild type roses. So now I'm in a bit of a dilemma. So I've still got my honeysuckle wine ready to bottle, and I found the bottles, which took me a while because I put them somewhere safe. Oops. Anyway, I found them now, so that still needs doing, but I'll need to sterilise the bottles first. I've collected the first lot of elderberries to make my elderberry wine, which are here, but they need picking off the stalks. I would love to make a second batch if I can, but I'll have to see how we're doing for time. But I'm definitely going to start off the first batch over the next couple of days. Possibly. There's just so much to do. Figuring out my timings and planning is a bit tricky. And then there was so many rose hips on the rose that I took down that I think I am actually going to have a go at making homemade rose hip syrup. So by chance, when I was away last week, I went to pick up this lady I think mentioned, and my car broke down, so I watched her layering sugar, taking the centre part out of the rose hips and then laying them down, and apparently that's how you make rose hip syrup, so I'd like to try that. I've got an apple crumble in the oven from some fresh windfall apples that I picked up today, and then I've still got all these other apples that thankfully are still okay from about a week ago that I was going to have a go at canning, which I've never tried before. So I've got this big vessel, I've got these big jars that hot dogs came in, I've cleaned them all up, and I was going to have a go at canning the extra apples. There's going to be so many apples this year, but it'd be nice to preserve some of them. It would be nice to make some apple cider vinegar, but that's pretty easy to set up. Anything else? I don't know. It's just that time of year, and I've not even started with collecting plums and getting ready to make this year's jam, but I have got the jam jars now, but also rapidly running out of time before I go back to school. I can still do bits when I go back to school, but yeah, not as much. I've been trying to do a bit of weeding in the garden on and off as well. I can hear Rasher barking away there. So yeah, anyway, it's a productive day, but I'm quite tired again, so I think I'll have aching arms after all the chopping back that I've been doing today, but I feel like definitely made some progress. And then We've had the first proper rain for a long time, so that'll do the garden some good, but it did mean that I had to stop what I was doing because it was absolutely piddling down. Not only that, at the time I couldn't find Rasher, and she was hiding in a dry spot. I did find her eventually, so I had to go, got soaked, came back in, realised I couldn't find Rasher, then I had to go out in the rain again, still couldn't find her, and then eventually I did find her. So, as you can probably hear in the background, she's fine. I'll try and get some... Oh, here she is, on cue. Hello, Rasher. How are you? You were a bit of a soggy doggy before, weren't you? Yeah. Would you like a biscuit? Would you like a biscuit? There you go. Ah, that's it. She's had a biscuit and she's gone. Cheeky madam. Right, anyway, so yeah, so quite how I'm going to fit it all in. And I've also got we had the oil delivery as you know earlier, but obviously got, if it all goes to plan, we're getting the greenhouse installed tomorrow, but the forecast is a bit iffy, so I hope they still turn up, fingers crossed. Yes, I just need to clear the back a bit where they're going to put down the greenhouse as well. So much going on. Other stuff anyway. That's the main things at the moment. Onwards. This is super exciting. It's starting to look like a greenhouse. Obviously no glass yet, but I think it's going to look pretty good when it's done. Very exciting. The glass is starting to go in. Pretty much finally starting to look like a greenhouse. So there's a little bit to do when Neil's got to go when he gets back to so I've had to wedge it up a little bit. So it needs to be windproof going forwards. Oops, I'm a bit breezy already. Yeah, but yeah, so far so good. Thankfully not too windy today. So while Chris, our greenhouse man, is busy starting to get all the glass installed in our new greenhouse, I am finishing up with, I clipped back a lot of hedging wood yesterday, but I ran out of daylight and it piddled with rain, frankly, so I'm still clearing up today. So as far as I've got, I'm going to keep the rose hips. I'm going to try and make some more rose hip syrup. Got a big bag there from the side. Got another big bag there filled up, a little bit more to put in, but have a look around the corner. I've still got to bag up all this as well. So that's my current job, and then hopefully I haven't got my car now, so when Neil's off tomorrow we can get hopefully most of it down the tip, and probably some cardboard boxes as well. I ended up with an awful lot of cardboard boxes. So I better crack on. Back path is now clear again, pleased to say. I've still got a little bit more bagging up to do, so probably one more bag will do it for now before I start on the other side. I did collect quite a lot of elderberries yesterday and picked them all off the stalks and ended up with about half a kilogram, but my elderberry wine recipe says to use about 1 kilogram. I think that's right, quite a bit more than I've got anyway. So I'm rescuing some more to do it all again. So but I think whatever I've got, I'll just make it with what I've got by now. There are more elderberries coming, but I need to get the wine started if I'm going to get it started before I go back to work. And then the rose hips are amazing and smell amazing, so I've kept a few more of them to hopefully make into rose hip syrup. But it seems a bit of a shame to just throw them away. Anyway, so I'm keeping them for now. I'll see how we get on for time. But yeah, so that's how it's looking now. So we've got full bag, back to fill. But if you can see, the rose hips are gorgeous this year, really pretty. And the elderberries, a little bit of a mixed bag, some green, some black. So I'm just saving what I can. I mean, if I have to, I can put them in the freezer until the rest are ready to pick anyway. So yeah, progress. I don't know if it's just an illusion, just inside the new greenhouse for a moment, but it feels a little bit bigger than the other one. Perhaps it is. Happy days. So yeah, so I've just been warned, if the wind gets underneath we might have some issues, so I just need to make sure, get some concrete and or filler where the gaps are. So yeah, not too bad. Very warm in here at the moment with the sunshine. So that's it. It is done. We have a new greenhouse. Da, 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 da. Oh wow. So we've got a rubber seal on the door. And then there's all rubber seals around the glass panes. Nice opening window. So to be truthful, the other one was extremely well ventilated because a few of the panes were missing, so we'll have to see how it goes with that one. Yeah, I asked for the vent on that side because if anything the wind tends to come around that way, so more from the side of the house and round the back. So yeah. So he's bolted it down for us where he can, and then we're going to have to get some reinforcements, particularly in this corner, and then yeah, then Neil should be able to bolt that down, hopefully. Get a bit of some kind of filler, either concrete or filler. But yeah, I mean, that's just the yeah. I kind of get why, but the installer didn't want to take the risk of drilling into that slab and the slab shattering, which I kind of get anyway. So. Right, anyway, we're pretty much there. Just need to shore it up before we get any strong winds. But it's a little bit more sheltered over this side of the garden anyway. And certainly at the moment it's getting plenty of hot sunshine. So obviously the sun will be lower once we get into the winter months, but I think it should still be light enough to do its job, hopefully. Certainly it'll get nice and toasty. I didn't even get out the little greenhouse heater with the old one because with that many panes missing it wouldn't have stayed very warm anyway. So, yeah, happy days. Greenhouse, woohoo. And then the fitter just recommended you can get a small padlock or something like that in this little hole, which will just stop the door blowing open if there was extra strong winds or anything. But honestly, it feels really, really solid. I think it'll do just fine. Very pleased. Happy days. I'm going to attempt to film myself bottling some honeysuckle wine. Everything's been, all the bottles are sterilised, my dispensing tube is sterilised. I've left the wine in the demijohn to settle for a day in the kitchen, so I've not got any yeast sediment, or what's left is right at the bottom. So wish me luck. So I'm just going to take the foil off my sterilised bottles, take the there's a name for that, isn't it, the blooper out anyway. Sorry, brain freeze, but yeah, you know what I mean. Take this part out, get set up ready, and then try and film it going. I'm afraid I do it the old-fashioned way, but it is just for home consumption, so siphoning I find tricky, so I just do it manually, shall we say. Here we go. So I've tried a few different methods and I've just had the most success with getting the pipe right to the bottom of the demijohn. So watch what you're doing, Sandra. And away we go, and then just keep it going and then just go from bottle to bottle without any break. I used to try and stop it in between with the tap, but I didn't have much luck with that, I'll be honest. So, it helps if your bottles don't fall over though. Not good, that would be a bit of a disaster. I'll fill up a back one next so it sort of keeps the weight down. Don't think I had the washing up bowl in last time. Yeah, so it does take a wee while, but it's not too bad. Let's just start filling up the back ones so they hold each other up. So, yeah, so I also used to try and take the pipe down as I went further into the wine in the bottle, but that sometimes stirs up the sediment, so I don't do it that way anymore either. Oof. I've been doing a lot of hedge cutting and picking up the hedge clippings today, and my back's really aching now. Just thought it'd be good to get this done. And then the corks just need a quick soak in sterilising fluid as well before you push them in. So just going to, but that's a wee bit wobbly, a bit worried about that one. Please don't fall over. Please don't fall over. So this is the first time I've ever made honeysuckle wine. And I have to say, it smells amazing. I do hope it's as good as it smells. So I had a little bit, before I put it in the demijohn, a little bit left over. So I have had a little taste of it, but mixed with a little bit of elderflower, which was lovely. Really fragrant and light and nice. So we're on nearly 3 minutes and it's nearly all bottled. So just hope there's enough for the last bottle. Dribbled slightly, unfortunately. We're getting there. Right, last one. Please be enough. Looking good. Well, this is where I wish I'd had an extra bottle on hand, but anyway, we'll see. Right. It should be enough to fill the last bottle, but it'd be nice to save a bit of the extra if there is any extra, which I think there might be this time. Nearly there. Let's see if I can stop it. Yay, good. Just leave that there for a moment. So this is actually a clean jar, so just being a bit, whether I can get a sneaky last bit to drink now. There we go, see if it'll float. Oh, we're still going. Shame to waste perfectly good wine, I say. Right, the sediment's starting to lift now, so I think we'll stop there. There you go. Super. Leaving a little bit to spare. Lovely. Right. Job well done. So I just need to cork them now and they can be stored until they're ready to drink. And then last but not least, I need to put the cork in. So just keep it covered with foil until I've got the cork, sterilised cork ready. Load the cork into the corker. There we go. And hopefully, oh, good firm press. Oh, I think it's in. Yep. Oh, okay. The cork's still a little bit dry at the moment, but it'll be fine. So I store them laying down and then it'll swell up and then it'll be fine. Good morning. I'm currently down at a local community orchard, just very quickly in the vain hope that there might have been some plums left. There was loads of plums about 2 or 3 weeks ago, but at that time they weren't quite ready. Sorry, there's a lot of lorries and tractors out today. It's cabbage harvesting time apparently. Anyway, so sadly not a plum to be seen. I found one plum on one tree, but there are still quite a few apples, not so many pears. I've just picked up some windfall pears that'll be fine for making pear wine with, so I might freeze those down till I've got time to make some pear wine with them. So I've got my elderberry wine to make, so I just bottled the elderflower now. I need to make the elderberry wine. So, excuse my itchy nose. Yeah, so looking very different to the last time I came. All the grass has been cut back now as well. So I'm glad that the plums were used, but a little bit sad that I didn't get to try any at all. But I do still have a possible alternative supply nearer home that I found on a cycle ride the other day. So I may try and see if they're still there. There's some proper damsons I spotted when I was out and about. So I'm just going to get some eating apples for Neil for the apple press that he's bought. We want to try out, and then we're going to scooter straight back home because we do also have other plans for today as a family. So Neil's not working today, so we want to make the most of it despite the not great weather. Righto, I'm going to crack on. Just quickly to say, I keep forgetting to mention, but if you are new to the channel and you are enjoying the content, it does really help the channel grow and gives us inspiration to keep going. We'll always welcome comments in the chat, and if you can like the videos and subscribe to the channel so that you get a notification when we're uploading new material, that really does help. And if you're enjoying the weekly Sandra Makes and Bakes Sunday content, I also have a Facebook page, Sandra Makes and Bakes, where I put up little updates and pictures from time to time in between the weekly vlogs. So onwards. So that's my little forage done for the day. So there's still plenty of apples left for people that want apples. Just taking enough, will be enough for the sweet ones for eating, and then we're going to try and juice some of them as well, and then the windfall pears will make some nice wine. So yeah, that's one of the trees still full of fruit. It's hard to believe now that the plum trees are absolutely heavily laden with plums, but they're definitely being used, which is a good thing. So there's my pears and some lovely fresh apples that will definitely be appreciated and used. Can't be fresh off the tree. Delicious. A lot to pack in today, but I've just got back from collecting the apples for the apple press, which I thought would be fun to try. But on the way back, I was doing 50 miles an hour approaching that sharp corner when you come out of Wrangle.
Down the A52?
52
yeah,
again. Yeah. This car legged it past me as there was like a tractor and a whole load of cars. If I hadn't braked hard, he would have gone into the tractor, possibly even caused a multiple pileup. Couldn't obviously see where they were going. And then because I slowed a bit to let that one go, the one behind me did it again on the next blind corner.
It's. I think I said a couple of years ago. It's like the Wild West out here. I have got some dashcam clips I'm trying to go through myself. So, the other day, in just one day, you were with us.
Please, people, just take care. It's literally costing lives.
Now, the people watching this won't do. We had an absolute idiot that overtook us on the A52. You were there with Lee. Then the following morning, I had another guy down the back lanes. How he even managed to get past me, I don't know, because it's only wide enough for one car, half on the grass. And then I've got another dashcam clip, if I can find it, with somebody coming where you're from the Skegness end, coming up towards Boston. So he overtook a tractor on a bend. We're coming the other way, and he's coming straight at us on the wrong side of the road. It really is shocking how bad it is. There was a motorcyclist was caught last week. Sorry, the police have got a photograph of the motorcyclist. I know they saw this one, but they didn't catch him, and he was doing 135 miles an hour on that road. Ouch. Very much so. Right, I need to do something.
But anyway, so they carried on. So all the way down, there's a lot of cabbage harvesting going on. So there's other tractors ahead. They're stuck in a queue, and they were still on the wrong side of the road, trying to overtake. And if anything was coming the other way, they'd just dice them with death, frankly. Crazy.